The ham sat in the center of the table, golden and studded with cloves, surrounded by my aunt's sweet potato casserole and my grandmother's green bean amandine. 23 members of the Martinez family crowded around my parents' extended dining table. Paper plates balanced on laps, wine glasses catching the light from the Christmas tree in the corner. I was telling my cousin about my promotion to senior data analyst when my sister Vanessa interrupted. Anyway, she said loudly, cutting through my sentence like I hadn't been speaking at all. Michael and I are thinking about Aruba for our anniversary. Somewhere with those overwater bungalows. My mother immediately turned away from me. Oh, how wonderful. You two deserve a vacation. You work so hard with the boutique. I sat there, fork halfway to my mouth, the words about my promotion dissolving into the general noise of the room. No one asked me to finish. No one even looked back. My Uncle Carlos raised his glass to Vanessa and Michael. 5 years of marriage, and still going strong. Everyone clinked glasses. I lifted mine automatically. The promotion I'd worked 16 months to earn, already forgotten. This wasn't new. When I was 12, I won the county science fair. My project on water filtration systems had beaten 60 other entries. I ran into the house, trophy in hand, bursting to tell everyone. My mother was on the phone. Vanessa was showing her new cheerleading uniform. Dad was watching football. I stood in the doorway for 10 minutes, holding my trophy, waiting for someone to ask. No one did. Finally, I took it to my room and put it on my dresser. At dinner that night, Vanessa talked for 40 minutes about making the JV squad. My trophy stayed upstairs. So, Claire, my Aunt Rosa said, pulling me from the memory. Still doing the computer thing. Data analysis. I corrected gently. Actually, I just got promoted to. That's nice, she said, already turning to Vanessa. And tell me more about the boutique. I saw your Instagram post about those handbags. Vanessa launched into a detailed description of her online boutique, which had sold exactly 12 items in the past 3 months, according to the Shopify dashboard I paid for. She didn't mention that I also paid for her product photography, her website hosting, and her business Instagram ads. I knew because I was the one who set up the automatic payments. My phone buzzed. A notification from my bank. Scheduled payment to Vanessa Martinez, rent $1,850, will process January 1st. 4 years, 48 payments. $88,800 total. She had called me the week she moved into that apartment in the trendy part of downtown. Claire, I'm short on rent. Just this once. I'll pay you back when the boutique takes off. Just this once had become every single month for 4 years. You know what your problem is, Claire. Vanessa said suddenly, her voice cutting across the table again. Everyone quieted. You never help anyone but yourself. I looked up from my plate. 23 faces turned toward me. Excuse me, I said quietly. It's true, Vanessa continued, warming to her audience. You make all this money with your fancy job, and you never think about family. Mom and Dad could use help with their mortgage. I'm trying to build a business, but you just hoard everything. My mother set down her wine glass. Vanessa, that's not. No, Mom, someone needs to say it. Claire's always been selfish. Even when we were kids, Vanessa's voice had that righteous tone she got when she was performing. She never shares. Never offers. Some of us actually care about family. Heads nodded around the table. My Uncle Carlos looked at me with something like pity. My cousin Jessica whispered something to her husband. My grandmother shook her head sadly, as if I'd disappointed her. No one defended me. No one asked if it was true. They just accepted Vanessa's narrative, the way they'd accepted every narrative about me my entire life. Claire, the selfish one. Claire, the cold one. Claire who never thinks about anyone else. You're right, I said calmly, setting down my fork. I should stop being so selfish. I pulled out my phone, logged into my banking app, and navigated to scheduled payments. My finger hovered over Vanessa Martinez rent, $1,850, scheduled for January 1st. I smiled at my sister across the table. You're absolutely right. I should stop. I pressed delete. The payment disappeared. 4 years of automatic deposits, cancelled with one tap. What? Vanessa said. Nothing, I said, putting my phone away. Just agreeing with you. I'll stop being selfish. I picked up my fork and took a bite of ham. It was excellent. My mother always made excellent ham. 2 years and 4 months earlier, I'd stopped expecting things from my family. The shift happened on a Tuesday. ID called my mother to tell her I'd been selected to present at a National Data Analytics Conference, 3,000 attendees. Invitation only. A career-defining moment. She'd said, "That's wonderful, honey," in that distracted voice that meant she wasn't really listening. Then immediately started talking about Vanessa's boutique soft launch party. I hung up and stared at my phone for 10 minutes. Then I called my college roommate, Kieran, who'd become a friend over the years, despite the distance between us. She screamed when I told her. Actually screamed. "Claire, do you know how huge this is? I'm telling everyone at the office. We're celebrating this weekend." That's when I understood the difference. Real relationships celebrated you. They showed up, they remembered. My family didn't celebrate me. They tolerated me. So I stopped offering them opportunities to disappoint me. I took the promotion to senior analyst, then another one 8 months later to lead analyst. I made friends at work. Real ones. Marcus, my mentor, who'd been in data analytics for 20 years, and treated me like the daughter he never had. Priya, who worked in product development, and met me for coffee every Friday. James, who'd joined our team 6 months ago, and actually listened when I talked. I started dating someone. Ben worked in environmental consulting, made $103,000 a year, and had the kind of steady calm that came from dealing with corporate bureaucracy. He was 36, divorced once, no kids, no drama. When I told him about my family, he just said, "Sounds like you learned to rely on yourself early." That's not a bad skill. I liked that he didn't try to fix it. He just accepted me. My contact with my family dwindled to holidays and the occasional text. I called my parents every few weeks. Vanessa and I barely spoke, except when she needed something, which meant we spoke about once a month, when her rent was due. She never said thank you. She'd just text, "Rent was tight this month," or "Landlord S being difficult," or "Business expenses are killing me." And I'd transfer $1,850 like clockwork. Sometimes more if she mentioned utilities or car insurance or credit card bills. I kept a spreadsheet. Every payment, every date, every excuse. It started as a practical thing, tax purposes, I told myself, but really, I think I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't the selfish one. Proof that I'd tried. By November of that year, my savings account had $43,000. I was maxing out my 401k. I'd paid off my car. I took a vacation to Vancouver with Ben and didn't tell my family until we got back. "You went on vacation without telling us," my mother said when I mentioned it casually on a call. "It was just a long weekend," I said. "Didn't think it was a big deal." There was a pause. "Well, I guess you're busy with your life now." The guilt trip was subtle but present. I recognized it immediately, the implication that I was abandoning them, that I'd gotten too important for family. But for the first time, it didn't land the way it used to. Yeah, I said. I am busy. But I'm happy. My mother made a non-committal sound and changed the subject to Vanessa's boutique struggling with Instagram engagement. I didn't offer to help with that either. Christmas dinner was at my parents' house, the way it had been every year since I was born. I drove over with a bottle of good wine and a casserole I'd spent 2 hours making that morning. Ben was visiting his own family in Oregon, so I was facing this one alone. The house was already full when I arrived at 4. Extended family packed the living room: aunts, uncles, cousins, second cousins, my grandmother, family friends who'd been around so long they might as well be related. The Christmas tree took up an entire corner, covered in ornaments spanning for decades of Martinez family history. Vanessa was holding court near the fireplace, showing everyone something on her phone. Probably boutique photos. Her husband Michael stood beside her, nodding enthusiastically. He worked in pharmaceutical sales and made decent money, which made the fact that they were always broke somewhat mysterious. Claire. My mother hugged me, took the casserole, and immediately handed it to my aunt to put with the other food. Vanessa was just showing us the feature the local lifestyle blog did on her boutique. That's great, I said. Vanessa glanced at me. Oh, hey. Yeah, they did this whole piece on emerging local businesses. It's really good exposure. She didn't offer to show me. That was fine. I hadn't expected her to. Dinner was the usual chaos. Too many people, not enough chairs, paper plates, because my mother refused to wash dishes for 23 people. I ended up squeezed between my cousin's husband and my uncle Carlos, making small talk about traffic and the weather while Vanessa's voice carried from the other end of the table. I was telling my cousin Jessica about my promotion. She actually asked when Vanessa's voice cut through everything else. Anyway, Michael and I are thinking about Aruba for our anniversary. And just like that, I became invisible again. I finished my sentence to Jessica, but her attention had already drifted to Vanessa's vacation talk. I ate my ham and listened to the conversation flow around me like water around a stone. Then my Aunt Rosa asked about my computer thing, and I tried once more to mention the promotion. She cut me off to ask Vanessa about handbags. I felt my phone buzz. The bank notification. Scheduled payment to Vanessa Martinez, rent, $1,850, will process January 1st. 8 days from now, that money would leave my account. Like it had every month for 4 years. Like it would keep doing forever, apparently, because Vanessa's boutique was never going to take off, and she was never going to pay me back. I stared at the notification. $88,800 over 4 years. And she was announcing vacation plans while calling me selfish. You know what your problem is, Claire. I looked up. Vanessa was staring directly at me. And somehow, the entire room had gone quiet. You never help anyone but yourself. The words landed in silence. 23 people turned to look at me. I felt heat rise to my face, but I kept my expression neutral. Excuse me. It's true, Vanessa continued, her voice getting stronger. She was enjoying this, I realized. Enjoyed being the center of attention. The righteous one calling out the selfish sister. You make all this money with your fancy job, and you never think about family. Mom and Dad could use help with their mortgage. I'm trying to build a business. But you just hoard everything. My mother opened her mouth to object, but Vanessa was on a roll. Claire's always been selfish. Even when we were kids, she never shares, never offers. Some of us actually care about family. Heads nodded. My Uncle Carlos looked at me with pity. My cousin Jessica whispered to her husband. My grandmother shook her head. No one defended me. No one asked if it was true. They just believed her. For years of paying her rent. 2 years before that of occasional help. Nearly $100,000 transferred quietly, without acknowledgement, without thanks. And with one sentence, she'd convinced everyone I was the selfish one. I could explain. I could pull out my phone right now and show them the bank transfers. I could expose everything, but what would be the point? They'd already made up their minds. They'd already decided I was the cold, selfish daughter. The sister who hoarded money. The family member who never helped. Fine, you're right, I said calmly. I pulled out my phone. I should stop being so selfish. I opened my banking app while Vanessa watched, confused. I navigated to scheduled payments. Found Vanessa Martinez rent, $1,850. I pressed delete. The payment disappeared from my scheduled list. 4 years of automatic deposits ended with one tap. What? Vanessa said. Nothing, I said, putting my phone away. Just agreeing with you. I'll stop being selfish. Vanessa frowned, but she didn't understand yet. How could she? She didn't even know I'd been paying her rent. As far as she was concerned, her rent just magically showed up every month from some online payment system she'd set up and forgotten about. She turned back to her audience and continued talking about Aruba. I finished my dinner in silence. No one spoke to me for the rest of the meal. 20 minutes later, during dessert, Vanessa's phone rang. She glanced at the screen, frowned, and stepped into the kitchen to answer it. I ate my pie pumpkin, my grandmother's recipe, and waited. Vanessa came back into the dining room 3 minutes later, her face pale. I have to go, she said to Michael. Now, what's wrong? My mother asked. Nothing. Just we have to go. Thank you for dinner. They left in a rush, Vanessa's phone buzzing continuously in her hand. My Uncle Carlos shook his head. Always some emergency with her business. She works so hard, my mother said. I took another bite of pie. It was excellent. Vanessa called me 47 times between December 25th and December 27th. I didn't answer. She texted, *Claire, call me *Claire, this is urgent. Why isn't my rent processing? Claire, I need to talk to you now. My landlord is threatening eviction. Claire, answer your phone. I responded once. On the evening of December 27th, I took your advice. I'm going to stop being selfish. She called immediately. I let it go to voicemail. Her voicemail. What the hell does that mean? Claire, my rent didn't go through. I don't understand what happened. There was a payment set up, and now it's just gone. My landlord is freaking out. He says if I don't have rent by the 1st, he's starting eviction proceedings. Claire, please, this isn't funny. Call me back. I deleted the voicemail. On December 28th, my mother called. Claire, Vanessa says there's some confusion about her rent. No confusion, I said. I canceled the payment. Silence. What payment? The $1,850 I've been paying every month for 4 years. More silence, longer this time. You've been, paying Vanessa's rent. Every month since October 2020. $88,800 total. Plus utilities for 8 months. Car insurance for 6 months. Credit card minimums for almost a year. And one emergency dental bill. Call it $98,350 total. I heard my mother sit down. Claire, I didn't know. I know you didn't. Vanessa never mentioned it. Why would she? It was easier to tell everyone I was selfish than to admit I'd been supporting her for 4 years. She called you selfish at Christmas dinner, my mother said slowly. In front of everyone, she did, and you cancelled her rent payment. I did. My mother was quiet for a long moment. What's she going to do? I have no idea, Mom. That's not my problem anymore. Claire, she's your sister. And I'm done being confused for an ATM. I hung up. On December 30th, Vanessa showed up at my apartment. I opened the door to find her standing there, Michael behind her, both of them looking exhausted. We need to talk, Vanessa said. Okay. I didn't invite them in. Claire, I don't understand what's happening. Why did you cancel my rent payment? You said I was selfish. You said I never help family. I decided you were right. That's not I didn't mean. She looked genuinely confused. Claire, that payment has been processing automatically for years. I didn't even realize you were the one making it. I know. So why would you just cancel it? My landlord served me an eviction notice. We have until January 5th to come up with $1,850, or we're out. Then I guess you have until January 5th. Michael stepped forward. Claire, please, be reasonable. We can't come up with that kind of money in a week. You're both employed, I said. Vanessa has her boutique. You work in pharmaceutical sales. Surely you can figure something out. The boutique barely makes anything, Vanessa said. You know that. Then get a real job. You told me I should get a real job at Christmas dinner. Maybe take your own advice. That's not Claire, please. I'm sorry, okay. I didn't mean it. I was just talking. I didn't think, I said quietly. That's the problem. So you're just going to let me get evicted. Out of spite. I'm going to stop paying your bills. That's not spite. That's boundaries. This is cruel, Vanessa said, tears starting. How can you be so cruel? I gave $98,350 over 4.5 years. The accounting is done. She stared at me. What? $98,3 rent, utilities, insurance, credit cards, emergencies. 4.5 years of payments you never acknowledged. You want to talk about cruel? You stood in front of 23 family members and called me selfish. While I was literally supporting your entire lifestyle. I didn't know, Vanessa shouted. I didn't know it was you. I thought it was just some automatic thing Michael set up. You thought your rent paid itself, I said. For 4 years. She looked at Michael. He had the grace to look uncomfortable. I may have implied I had it handled. You lied to me. Vanessa turned on him. I didn't lie. I just didn't explain where the money came from. This was getting messy. I stepped back. This is between you two. I'm done being involved. Claire, please, Vanessa said, turning back to me. I'll pay you back, I promise. Just keep making the payments for a few more months, until we get on our feet. No, Claire, I'm done. Vanessa. Boundaries aren't negotiable. I closed the door. She pounded on it for 2 minutes, shouting through the wood that I was abandoning family, that I'd regret this, that everyone would know what kind of person I really was. I turned on the TV and drowned her out. On January 2nd, my parents invited me to dinner. Both of them, formal invitation. We need to talk. I met them at a restaurant neutral ground. They were already seated when I arrived, looking tired. Thank you for coming, my father said. Sure. My mother pulled out her phone and set it on the table. Vanessa sent us this. It was a spreadsheet. My spreadsheet, actually the one I'd been keeping for 4 years. Vanessa must have demanded proof from Michael, and he must have gotten it from my emails somehow. Every payment, every date, every amount. Is this real? My father asked. Yes. You gave her nearly $100,000. Yes. My mother looked sick. Claire, why didn't you tell us? Would it have mattered? Silence. You all decided I was selfish, I said quietly. Christmas dinner, 23 people, all agreeing with Vanessa that I never help anyone. Not one person defended me. Not one person questioned whether it was true. You just accepted it. We didn't know, my father said. You didn't ask. More silence. Vanessa's in trouble, my mother said finally. Real trouble. She and Michael can't make rent. He was barely covering his own expenses, apparently. They're going to lose the apartment. That's unfortunate. Claire is your sister, and I supported her for 4.5 years. I'm done, so you're just going to abandon her? My father said, a edge creeping into his voice. After everything, you're going to let her become homeless? She's not going to become homeless. She's going to get a real job and learn to live within her means. Like I did. This is cruel, my mother said. This isn't like you. You don't know what's like me, Mom. None of you do. You've never paid attention long enough to find out. I stood up. I'm not coming to family events for a while. I need space from all of this. Claire, wait. I gave $98,350. I gave 4.5 years. I gave at every holiday, every birthday, every time someone asked. I gave and gave and gave, and no one noticed, until I stopped. Then suddenly, I'm cruel. I'm selfish. I'm abandoning family. I looked at both of them. Maybe ask yourself why noticing only happened when the money stopped. I left. 2 days later, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Claire Martinez. A professional woman's voice. Yes. This is Patricia Chen. I'm a financial therapist. Your sister Vanessa came to see me for an emergency consultation, and she mentioned your situation. With your permission, I'd like to offer some perspective. I almost hung up. But something about her tone, calm, non-judgmental, made me pause. Go ahead. What your sister described, whether she realizes it or not, is systematic financial exploitation. You weren't helping her. She was using you as an undisclosed income source while maintaining a lifestyle she couldn't afford. The fact that she didn't acknowledge these payments, didn't thank you, and then publicly accused you of the exact behavior she was engaging in, that's a classic exploitation pattern. She didn't know I was the one paying, I said, though I wasn't sure why I was defending her. She didn't want to know, Patricia said gently. Willful ignorance is still a choice. And the moment you enforced a boundary, she tried guilt, anger, and family pressure to restore the status quo. That's not a person in crisis. That's a person whose exploitation stream just ended. So I'm not, overreacting. You're underreacting. You should have stopped 3 years ago. That night, I talked to Ben about it. He listened to the whole story, then said, your boundaries are valid. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your resources, family or not. Everyone thinks I'm cruel. Everyone was fine with you being an ATM. Now, you're cruel. He shook his head. That tells you everything you need to know about their priorities. On January 8th, Vanessa posted on Facebook. The post was long, emotional, and public. She talked about family betrayal, about sisters who abandon each other, about being left homeless during the holidays. 63 comments, mostly sympathetic. Praying for you. I'm so sorry. Family should be there for each other. I didn't respond, but Marcus did. Marcus, my mentor, who'd apparently seen the post because we were Facebook friends, commented, interesting. Claire's mentioned she's been financially supporting a family member for years. Is this the same situation? The comments slowed down. Then Priya commented, I've known Claire for 3 years. She's one of the most generous people I know. There's definitely another side to this story. Then James, Claire doesn't talk about her family much. But when she does, it's clear she's been carrying a heavy load. Maybe ask why someone who's been helping for years suddenly stopped. I hadn't asked them to defend me. They just did. The narrative started to shift. People started asking questions. Wait, have you been receiving financial help? What's the other side? How long has this been going on? Vanessa deleted the post 6 hours later. 10 months later, October 5th, I stood in the Vancouver airport with Ben. Both of us exhausted and happy. 2 weeks in British Columbia, hiking, wine tasting, spending money on ourselves without guilt. My savings account had grown by $22,000 in the 10 months since I'd stopped supporting Vanessa. I'd maxed out my 401k, paid off the last of my student loans, put a down payment on a small investment property. Your phone's buzzing, Ben said. I glanced at it. A text from my mother. Vanessa and Michael's wedding renewal is next month. She's hoping you'll come. I put the phone away. I'll think about it. Will you really? Probably not. Ben smiled. Good. The truth was, I didn't miss them. Not really. I missed the idea of them, the family I'd wanted, the one that celebrated me, that noticed me, that treated me like I mattered. But that family had never existed. Mourning, it felt like mourning a fantasy. Vanessa and Michael had moved into a smaller apartment. She'd gotten a job at a marketing firm entry level, but it paid. Michael had started picking up extra shifts. They were figuring it out, according to my mother, who called occasionally with updates I didn't ask for. My parents kept trying. Dinner invitations, casual coffee dates, just checking in texts. I responded politely but distantly. Yes, I was fine. No, I wasn't ready to come to family events. Yes, I'd let them know when that changed. I wasn't sure it ever would. You want to get dinner? Ben asked as we collected our bags from the carousel. That Thai place you like? Actually, I said. Marcus invited us to his daughter's birthday party tomorrow. Priya's going too. We could do both. Works for me. That was the thing I'd learned over the past 10 months. Chosen family showed up. They celebrated your wins. They defended you when you weren't there. They didn't need blood relation to treat you like you mattered. Marcus's daughter's party was loud, chaotic, and filled with people who actually wanted me there. Marcus introduced me to everyone as the brilliant analyst who's going to run the department someday. His wife hugged me like I was one of their own. Priya brought fancy cupcakes and insisted we take pictures. No one needed me to be invisible. No one needed me to shrink. No one was waiting for me to fund their lifestyle or fix their problems. They just wanted me there. Speech. Someone called when Marcus brought out the cake. Oh, I'm not. Come on, Claire, Marcus said. Say something. I stood awkwardly, aware of 30 people watching me. I'm not great at speeches, but I just want to say thank you to Marcus for being the best mentor anyone could ask for. To Priya, for the Friday coffee dates that saved my sanity. To all of you, for being the kind of people who show up. That matters more than you know. Everyone clapped. Someone handed me a drink. Ben squeezed my hand. You doing okay? He asked quietly. Yeah, I said. Actually, I really am. The next morning, I got another text from my mother. This one was longer. Claire, I know you need space and I respect that, but I want you to know your father and I have been talking. We're sorry, We're sorry we didn't see what was happening. We're sorry we didn't defend you at Christmas dinner. We're sorry it took losing you for us to realize how much you were carrying. Vanessa wrote us a letter. A real one, not a Facebook post. She knows what she did. She's working on herself. We're not asking you to forgive her, or us. We're just asking you to know that we see you now. We see what you did. We see who you are. And we're sorry it took this long. Love, Mom. I read it twice. Then I put my phone down and went to make breakfast with Ben. Maybe someday I'd respond. Maybe someday I'd sit down with my parents and have a real conversation about boundaries and respect and what family actually meant. Maybe someday I'd even talk to Vanessa again, though I couldn't imagine what that conversation would look like. But today wasn't that day. Today, I was going to make pancakes with my boyfriend, meet Priya for our Friday coffee date, and attend the work happy hour that Marcus's team had been planning for weeks. Today, I was going to be with people who saw me, celebrated me, and never once asked me to be smaller so they could be bigger. I checked my savings account balance while the coffee brewed. $65,200. 4 years ago, that number had been $8,300. I'd given away $98,350 to someone who never said thank you. Now, I was building a life for myself, surrounded by people who actually cared. The math worked out perfectly. I smiled, poured 2 cups of coffee, and went to start my day. The accounting, finally, was done.